Talking about thematic essays, and some of these were mentioned in the list that we had of important people. The essay called for to talk about leaders that changed society and to give the reason why they were making a change and then the impact of that change. And from the list that they gave, well, I got him, but in most instances they weren't picking up on Gorbachev. The leader that changed society that I picked there was Martin Luther. What did he want to do? He wanted to reform the Catholic Church. There were problems in the Catholic Church. They were selling indulgences, and he didn't think that was the right thing to do, and it wasn't the right thing to do. And he had a whole list of issues that he had with the Catholic Church. That's what the 95 Theses is. These are 95 ideas. So he had talked about indulgences, but he had a whole bunch of things that he wanted to talk to the church about. And the church was the Catholic Church. But the Catholic Church did not want to make any changes, and as a result of the criticism that went back and forth, Luther was a priest at the time. He was told to stop his criticism. He refused, and he broke away from the Catholic Church. And that's the event known as the Protestant Reformation. He started a new Christian religion. So the religion that Luther started back in the 1500s was the Lutheran religion. So it was a Christian religion other than the Catholic. The other, back then they referred to it not as a Christian religion, but as a Protestant religion. And the impact of that is that where there used to be religious unity in Europe, everyone who was Christian was Roman Catholic. Now you could be Lutheran and Christian and map people are putting a map back up on the wall. So you have other religions coming in. The first Protestant religion was a Lutheran religion, and then you have John Calvin starting Calvinism, and you have Henry VIII in England starting the Anglican religion. So it started with Luther, the religious unity in Europe was ended, and more other Christian religions came into existence. So that's his importance. The next person, leaders that changed society, had an impact. I mentioned him when I did my list of important people. In my lifetime, I believe that this guy had the most impact on society in Europe, and he was given Man of the Year awards, and I'm teaching 44 years. I think that this guy has led to more changes than anybody else during my lifetime. And Mikhail Gorbachev inherited, when I say inherited, when he came to office, the country that he was in, which was the Soviet Union, was a totalitarian state. Only one legal political party, that political party based on a set of ideas, a government that controlled all the media, television, radio, books, newspapers, Whatever information people got came from the government. And a huge army. It used a secret police. So there was an incredible amount of control. While he was in office, the totalitarian state ended, which was, to me, was mind-boggling, because it's 2011 today. I would have believed that in 2011, the Soviet Union would still be a totalitarian state. And yet it happened very quickly. He introduced two ideas: glasnost, where he introduced political change. The totalitarian state was dead. More political parties. Criticism allowed. Criticism of the government was allowed. So political freedom was introduced. And economic change, it went from being a command economy, which was government run, government decided. It went to a demand economy. And all of this happened without any fighting, which was the mind-boggling part of it. And not only that, as a result of the things that he introduced, where there used to be one country called the Soviet Union, the Soviet Union disappeared. And where there was one country, now there were 15. 15 countries with different political parties, with an economic system based on supply and demand, providing for people. People were allowed to make a profit where they weren't up above. And then every one of the countries in Eastern Europe, Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Czechoslovakia, Albania, Yugoslavia, all of those countries did away with their totalitarian states. So basically, communism disappeared from Eastern Europe. That was what was so mind-boggling. And all of this happened with no violence, the only exception being Romania, where George Ceausescu was tried to hold on. He tried to maintain this, but it ended. But that was the only place. Everything else changed without any fighting. That's why I point out that when he came around, and basically when I grew up during the Cold War, when Gorbachev was around, the Cold War ended. So Reagan was in power, and then Bush was in power in the United States. During that time, with this guy, the Cold War was over.